Ask Tom on Home Show.
Elise from Meyerland has a question about flood proofing.
Well, do you remember the Memorial Day flood and the Tax Day flood and all the other floods they've had over there?
Flood Harvey, Flood Allison, Flood...
Absolutely.
Yes,
Well,
Francis.
Elise writes, unfortunately, they had two floods after they built their house over there in Meyerland. And she says, sadly, we put sheetrock in the garage, and 3 weeks after we moved in, had to rip it out again because of a flood, because of Harvey. She said, so is there a sheetrock alternative, she wants to know, Tom, so that they don't have to continually replace the sheetrock in the garage?
Well, first off, if a garage floods, whatever materials you have on the interior are still going to have to be torn out because you're going to have to clean out the inside of the walls. You have to let everything dry out real well. Then you got to put it back together. And if you have a flood every time it rains, and Meyerland is notorious for being a flooded area, all you can do is lift it up. But the fact that it's a garage, you'll never get your car in there or your lawnmower out because there'll be a 4 or 5 foot drop, and that's a lot. You have to have a lot of driveway to do that nice and slow.
You probably need a long runway to get up that ramp.
Oh yeah, you can't just go straight up and in. It doesn't work that way. The other thing is, if it's attached, like many of the homes in Meyerland, you have to have a fire-rated sheathing on the inside of the garage. And so they use fire gypsum or fire sheetrock. It's called an X-rated rock, and it gives you a 45-minute burn through before it'll get to the other side, which allows you to either get the fire put out or, of course, escape the house before the whole thing burns down, which hopefully never happened. But that's part of today's codes. You can't get away from that. It's just the way it's going to be. And if it gets flooded, it's going to have to be replaced. The bottom 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, whatever the case may be. It's what happens. Now, if you have a house that floods regularly, you're still going to go through all this, right? You even have to tear tile out because all that pollution and stuff from the water, from the bayous and things, it gets down into the thin set and stuff. There's no flood proofing at all except raising it. You can call Due West Foundation Repair. You can raise your house, not necessarily your garage. That becomes an issue. But you can raise your house, as high as you need to, so that part doesn't flood and you don't have to go through this. But as far as a garage, it's pretty difficult, if not impossible.
I guess if you raise the house, you put it like a 10-foot door on that garage. You could put a lift in there to lift your car up in the case of a flood.
Yes, but I don't know if the HOA is going to want to look at a lift out in front of your garage.
Well, no, it'd be inside the garage. You pull in, and there's a little thing, It could happen. I saw one the other day.
You know what? You know what, Charlie? You could. You could do that if it's not attached. You could do that if it's not. If it's attached, you still got to bring sheetrock all the way down.
All the way down. There it is.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Well, I thought
you'll have to replace the lift because it'll be destroyed in the flood, but that's only about $25,000.
And your car hopefully costs more than that. But the
well, mine don't.
Well, it's worth more than that. But I saw one the other day that you'll love. Is this I saw this demonstrated. They drive the car into this bag that they zip up, and then it's airtight and watertight. And when the floodwaters rise and then go down, you open the bag and you drive your car out of it. I'm thinking, you've got to have a lot of faith in that bag.
Well, you know what they do in Dallas with hailstorms?
What's that?
They cover it with floaties from swimming pools. They blow it up. Or they'll take those noodles. Yeah. And they'll tie them together and do a noodle wrap on top of the car so the hail bounces off.
I was driving in Dallas one time when a hailstorm like that happened, and it was like Lord of the Flies. People would stop under the underpasses, and the people behind them were just, sorry.
They get some hailstorms that people in Houston don't even contemplate how big they are. Yeah,
but you wouldn't like it here. The bugs are big. Stay there. All right, you got a question? We'd be happy to help you out. Go visit HomeShowRadio.com, will you? Just click on that Ask Tom button, fill it out, send it in. We would love to help you out, and we'll post your answer at HomeShowRadio.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channel. Every day we post a new one.